This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Martin Murray. How are you, mate?
Happening, mate. You all right?
Yeah. You don't strike me as the most technical person in the world, but you got here, so...
Yeah, God, mate, give me a bit of credit. I'm not... Don't get me wrong, I'm not too savvy, but I can get by.
I just think, with these Zoom things, I hate doing Zooms, and I didn't really want to do this one on Zoom, but we're in a situation now where we kind of have to do it.
That's it, mate. It has to be done, doesn't it?
No, absolutely.
Like you said, we're there anyway, so...
There we go. Martin, obviously, not too long ago, you've announced your retirement after, 13 years as a professional?
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good, mate. Obviously it's still a bit new, but look back now and I'm glad it's over, to be honest with you. Really felt my age in that fight. Not only the fight, but the training camp especially. It's hard on the body after a while, mate. Like you said, 13 years, going into my 14th year, I believe. So it was I've worked hard for a long time, and my body's glad of the rest now. So yeah, mate, I'm glad it's over.
Martin, I remember talking to you after the Hassan and Dam fight.
Yeah.
Where you said at that point that you felt like you needed to call it a day. What happened in that point between that fight and then you kind of fighting again?
Yeah, I was so deflated after that. Don't get me wrong, it was an off night for me, but I still thought I won the fight, especially at home. And I just thought, if I can't get any luck at home against a foreign fighter, what luck have I got? So I kind of lost the obsession with winning a world title. I was going to call it a day, and then I got into personal training, and that kind of got me, by teaching people how to box and improve, and kind of got the love for it for me back. So I started the gym, and I thought I'd just take one fight at a time. And I had 2 mediocre fights last year, not much in them, but they kind of did the job in getting me this fight against Billy Joe. So it was only 3 fights in 2 years, but it come too late. And Billy Joe even said himself, it was. The timing was perfect for him. The time was wrong for me. And boxing's all about timing. But it was just one of them where I knew there was a big fight left in me. And, looking back now in hindsight, if I'd have retired then, I'd have definitely felt like, I kind of had a little bit more to give. Whereas now, I know that, don't get me wrong, I could stay in the game. You look at the fight against Billy Joe. I've not watched it yet, but I can only go off our feel. Yeah, he did win. He did win convincingly, but a lot of the rounds were close. I didn't feel in me that I had the gears to do what I needed to do. And, Billy Joe really rated him, after fighting him. He's a world-class fighter. And, what I'm trying to say is, world-class fighter, world champion, undefeated. A lot of the rounds were still close. I can still stay in the game, and I can still, go out and fight people and maybe win a few mediocre titles, but it's just too damaging on my body. I know the time's right now, and I'm happy. I'm retired, still a bit new, but like as I sit here now and talk to you, mate, I feel good, mate, and I'm looking forward to and excited about my future.
How much do you remember about when you made your debut? Like 14 years ago now, it was at the Robin Park Centre, wasn't it, against Jamie Ambler?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What do you remember about that?
Oh, God, I don't remember. Obviously, I remember going to the weigh-in.
You fought like heavyweight as well for your debut, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I weighed in 11-12 like I was supposed to, and he weighed in 13.5 stone. So I remember getting there, and the board said to me, he's weighed in 13.5 stone. Do you still want to take the fight? And I'd sold about 400 tickets, I think. And yeah, I thought, yeah, of course I do. I still want to fight. And then I remember obviously warming up. I was well up for fighting. And then I remember going taking a little peep out this door. You know, there was a little door where you make your entrance and take a little peep, and all I could see is every man and his dog from St Helens who come out supporting me. And honestly, I shit it. You know, I didn't even though there was sold a lot of tickets, I still hadn't envisioned myself and pictured myself walking out in front of all them. So, yeah, that got me really nervous, and you know, I want to go out there and fight him. But Oliver just said, listen, just go out there, just box him. And it was definitely the right decision, because if I'd gone out there and tried to knock him out, he'd have made me look bad. Whereas I went in and put a classic performance and won easy on points. But it was, it was the start of an incredible journey, mate, and the start of me and, you know, turning my life around and achieving a lot in boxing. I mean, I didn't get the ultimate goal, which what I aimed for, come close, but I didn't get it. But, you know, boxing served me well, mate, and I can't complain.
Martin, the two fights that stick out for me with you that kind of must have been, well, the two most frustrating fights of your career. First of all, the fight with Felix Sturm, which you had a draw in that, and also the fight against Sergio Martinez, which a lot of people believe that you beat him.
Yeah.
Would they be the two kind of fights that you look back and think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And you know what? They're obviously the two that stick in most people's mind, and rightly so. But I mean, the Abraham one for me was frustrating from a point where I thought I did enough just to win, but in the same breath, I thought I left it too close to call. You know, I didn't leave it all in the ring, so that's quite frustrating from my point of view. But I mean, the Stern fight and the Martinez fight, Macklin fought him before me. We all seen what happened with that. So, and obviously Jeremy's got an history of robbing fighters, so I kind of knew what to expect. And I went from fighting Nick Blackwell for the British title in June to fighting for a world title against Felix Sturm 6 months later. So it was a massive jump, but I always believed I was at world level, and that kind of announced myself on that stage then. So, you know, it was hard. It was hard, but yeah, I kind of knew that my career had only just really begun then. You know what I mean? So even though I was a little bit gutted, I was happy and excited about what my future was going to hold. And the Martinez one again, you know, I fought him on, what was it? It was the 30th anniversary, I think, of the Falkland Islands. You know, so I fought him on that day, and I was brought over as cannon fodder. And I remember Martinez, like, we've kept in touch since, but I remember I fought on Ricky Hatton's undercard, his last fight in 2012 November, and I was told that if I won this fight, I've got a good chance of fighting Martinez. So obviously I won, went over, and he was a mega star over there, Martinez. So we had this, we went over promoting the fight, and I remember when I went in, obviously I was, you know, fighting a hero, you know, a modern great, and I remember we was in this room ready for going to the press conference, and Martinez come walking in. He didn't even recognise me. He didn't even know he was fighting me. You know, I think they overlooked me that much. And then he come walking and he was saying hello to everybody. And then you know when you're fighting somebody, you know, when you know, and when you know, before they win the press conference, there's automatically that little bit of nervousness. You know what I mean? Whereas him, I just knew he didn't know me. So when he come walking, and then I forget who it was now, that introduced him. He said, "Oh, this is Martin Murray, the guy who you're fighting." So I knew they overlooked me, but I kind of knew that, you know, when I did fight him again, I'd have to knock him out to win. And even still, you know, I look back at that fight, and I think I'm right in saying this, that was the only fight where they've ever used instant replay back on a fight. I think they used it. They tried it on my fight, and then it was never used again. So, you know, we'll look back and think, even if I'd have won, like I clearly knocked him down in round 8, but the judges looked back and reviewed it, and they said there was nothing wrong with it. But it was clear as day that I put him down. it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the scores were 115, 112 by all three judges, which I think, you know, you very rarely see that, you know, three judges seeing the exact same fight. But even still, they didn't really let a knockdown. So I look back and think, you know, even if I would have won, did I still find a way of disqualifying me or something? So just the politics of the game. And you know, I knew that after that fight, he was fighting Cotto. But again, you know, I think at the time he was number 2 pound for pound in the world, I think. And, you know, went over and beat him, I thought, convincingly in his own country. So, again, you know, I was gutted from that, but I was still, I still kept hope. Like, you know what, I've proved myself against 2 world champions here. I know that I can go and do it. But obviously, it didn't happen that way. There was some bad matchmaking involved. You know, I went from like fighting, you know, Felix Sturm in December of 2011 and drawing him for a world title. And then my next fight then was in a 6 rounder on undercard of Scott Quigg and Rendell Monroe. Do you know what I mean? It was like you should have struck while the iron was hot. You know, I'd obviously gone over there, done that. I should have been built from that. I wasn't. So I had to rebuild again. Same with the Martinez fight. You know, I went over and many people thought, and I thought I beat Martinez, but I then went from fighting him in the April to fighting Sergio Kamitsky, who had already beat in a 10 rounder in Liverpool, in London in the December. And I just thought there was a lot of bad matchmaking that really, you know, could have, a bit of good matchmaking would have progressed my career and obviously made me get that opportunity sooner rather than later. But, you know, it didn't. I then signed with Rodney Burnham from Golden Gloves in South Africa. And he had a top time with him. He delivered everything, and it, you know, it like finished on the Golovkin fight, which I kind of signed him for. I knew I was fighting Golovkin, and yeah, it was a tough fight. But I've always been one of them, me KUGAN, where I've always wanted to challenge myself against the best, and you know, I've done that, mate. So I retired happy and proud, to be honest with you.
Talk about that Golovkin fight, and you fought Golovkin his best period.
Yeah.
Literally knocking everyone out. I know you went several rounds with Golovkin, but that was in Monte Carlo, and that was quite a long time ago now, wasn't it?
God, mate, yeah, it was 6 years ago in Feb. So it's long time ago. Yeah, it's mad. Time flies, mate, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's mad. I think that was 6 years ago in Feb, like I said. But yeah, I mean, he's still fighting. He's still doing well. He had a good win the other week. But I do think he's kind of just dipping a little bit. But I think that when I fought him, he was definitely in his pomp and in his prime, and he was he was the best person I've fought, mate, by far.
I was going to ask that. Who you think Golovkin's the best person, as in on your record? Who's giving you the hardest fight?
Golovkin.
Golovkin.
Yeah, Golovkin, mate. Yeah. I had an hard fight with George Groves. He gave me an hard fight. And it was hard with Billy Joe. I'll be honest with you. I'm still recovering from fight now from Billy. My back went in the training camp. My shoulder went. Still got problems with it. It was an hard fight. But you know, my age will have something to do with that. But that's not taking anything away from him. He turned up. He fought a good fight, and you know, the right man won. But yeah, I mean, you can only judge it from the time you fought them, and you know, boxing's all about timing. And you know, like I said, Billy Joe even said it himself. He timed it right with me. He got the timing right. I got it wrong, and you know, it could be one of them where he timed it right against Golovkin. I think he is dipping of late. I know he had a good win the other week, but I think he's fading a little bit, and you know, who knows what'll happen if the time's right.
What chance? Sorry, Martin. What chance to give Billy Joe against Canelo?
I don't see anybody beating Canelo, to be honest with you. I don't. I mean, the thing is, you always turn up for them big fights. You turn up and you get up your game and you go up another level. And but no doubt, if they fought, no doubt Billy Joe will do that again. But I just can't see anybody beating him, to be honest with you.
Mm.
But obviously, as always, he's an English lad, and I'd be rooting for him. I really do rate him after our fight. And I said to him, ring after, make sure you stick at it now, because I rate him. He fought well, and he's I don't know what the crack is with him in between fights, but if he really knuckles down, mate, he can just go on and on and on.
Martin, I wanted to talk to you about Oliver Harrison and how influential he was in your career and in your life as well.
Yeah. He's big in my life, Oliver. Kind of, it's kind of like since his death, I'm only just kind of coming to terms with it. If I'm honest with you, I still have bad days, but not bad days, but like I was only in car the other day with Jem, and I just started thinking of him, and I just started getting upset, and I do it all the time, mate. He's he was a big influence in my life, not just my career, but my life as well. And like I said, he come at the right time for me. I was back in the day, KUGAN. I was a bit wrong, just been in jail a few times. I was a little bit wild, and at the time I met Oliver, I was kind of wanting to settle down and wanted to, change my life, and he was just that calming influence that I needed at that time in my life, and he just really made me understand my future and what it means, to work hard and change your life, and I did. And he was, I'm in my office here at home. There's picture of me here with, he was our Isla's godfather. There's picture of him up in wall. Honestly, in my bar, I've got him. My converted garage. He's everywhere, mate. And like I said, I'm only just coming to terms with it, mate. But he's just a great guy and an unbelievable trainer. He didn't get the credit he deserved. And Jamie Moore should have had that opportunity to win a world title, and I believe it. When his time was right, when he was in his prime, he would have definitely won it had he had the chance. We were so unlucky in 2-3 fights, and we kind of all he ever wanted to do was build a scratch from fight and make him become a world champion. And we never obviously got there, but we got close. And we've got his lad now, Lerone, who's just turning pro. He's going to turn pro this year. The lad can do anything. Honestly, he can fight. Oliver's training from being like 2, and there's nothing he can't do. His future's massive. So me, Jamie, Nigel, anybody, Oliver, Johnny Wright, anybody who's connected to Oliver, are going to do whatever we can to make sure he has the best future and fulfills his potential. But Oliver was a great man. Like I said, I think about him every day, mate. We all do. And when I was getting upset in the car the other day, and Jem was saying to me, listen, I know it's hard and it is, but think how lucky you was to have met him, and to have got to know him as a friend. And it's true, mate. In one breath, I'm obviously it hurts, but in the next, I'm thinking, I'm very grateful that I got to meet him and know him on such a close and personal level.
And you finished your career with Jamie Moore, which was, it seemed to be a good fit, you and Jamie working together, mine.
It was the natural progression. At the time, 2017, I fought Gabe Rosado and beat him, and that was my last fight with Oliver. And then he took ill then a few months later. So, but by the time I got my next fight, which was, I think it was in September, it was on undercard of Callum Smith in that World Boxing Super Series, and I was a reserve for that. And Oliver wasn't fit to train me, so the only person who would have gone to, and you know, Jamie's someone who's always been there for me throughout my career. You know, from me starting out and me learning off him in sparring. He gave me a good few hidings a few times in sparring, mate. Let me tell you. But we had some proper wars, and from learning off him from that side of things, he was always there for me for advice throughout my career. Even when he retired, I'd go and phone him up. We'll go up, we'll meet up, we'll have a coffee. He's always been that person there for me. And so when obviously Oliver turned ill, it was natural for me to go with Jamie. I wouldn't have gone anywhere else. And obviously I know Nigel as well. From when I started my career, he was finishing his at Oliver's, and we'd always kind of kept in touch. So it was just natural and just the right place for me to go. And if it wasn't for them two over the past couple of years, they wouldn't have got the couple of years out of me that they did. Them two, the gym, all the lads at the gym, the crack, and it's just been good, mate. It's just been just what I needed, like, you know what I mean. And it's sad to say bye to them all, but I'll keep in touch. I'll go to gym every now and again, and me, Jamie, Nice, Dad, we'll be friends for life. And I'm looking at getting into training myself. We've still got the connection with our own, Oliver's lads, so we'll always be there or thereabouts in the game, and friends and that. So yeah, mate, it's all good. But two top blokes, mate, Jamie and Nige.
I remember you telling me a good 7 or 8 years ago. I remember asking you about, I can't remember what fight it was. I asked your opinion about a fight, and you said to me that you don't really watch boxing.
No, you know what? It's weird, this, KUGAN, and now it's mad. Like, starting out before I turned professional, I remember going. When was it? 2000. Man and Jem's first holiday together. It was 2006. We went to Turkey. And we're out, and it was Friday fight night then, and watching the boxing on Sky, and I was obsessed with watching it every week then. And I remember looking at it, and it was my dream to be on telly boxing. And I forget what fights I was watching, and I'm watching them saying, I'll be there one day. And it was, it's just where I wanted to be. So I was obsessed with watching it. And then when I turned pro and I started understanding the politics in the game of boxing, it knocked the love out of it for me. I just didn't watch it. And I've not watched it for years. And even when I was boxing, I didn't watch it. And there was times where I'd watch opponents, but that used to pay me to watch it because I just didn't want to watch it, man, to be honest with you. But now I've retired, I want to watch it. It's weird, mate. Honestly, I just want to watch it. I can't wait for the next show, and I'll be watching it because it's kind of not that it don't involve me because it never did really, but the politics did in some way. But I don't know, mate. It was just I just didn't want to watch it. Whereas now, mate, now we do. I'm looking forward to the next show. It's weird.
Martin, do you see your next phase of your kind of boxing life as a trainer or a potential trainer?
I do, mate. To be honest with you, yeah, I do. I'd like to stay in game. Oliver, you learn off a lot of people, but Oliver was the main person for me. I learned a lot of him. Same with Jamie, and I just think it'd be a shame and be a waste for me to not pass on my knowledge down to these up and coming kids. You know what I mean? People who I've experienced so many different things from, obviously from fights, from managers, from promoters. There's a lot of advice I could give. So I think it'd be a waste, mate. To kind of not do it. So I'm looking at doing it. I don't know. I'm still kind of putting feelers out for a place where I can kind of call my own from a training point of view. But obviously we've got, like I said, we've got Lerone, Oliver's lad. He's man and Jamie's kind of like prodigy and someone we want to build up and help him become world champion. but it's a passion of mine as well to kind of bring up the next champion from St Helens as well. So yeah, mate. I mean, I don't know yet exactly where I'm going to be training out of, but I'm definitely going to be training fighters, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you, mate. Yeah, give it. I'm 38, 39 this year, kind of looking at going, 11, 10 years or whatever, giving 10, 11 years to training, and then kind of calling it a day from there, mate. But I'm looking forward to it, mate, and excited about bringing lads through and helping them become champions.
Martin, you fall into this category of one of the best British fighters not to win a world title. When you hear those terms put together, how does that make you feel?
God, you know what, mate?
They didn't win one, and we know we've spoken about that. But how does it make you feel that? Because there's a lot of British fighters over the last however many years, that kind of fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, it's mixed emotions because obviously, you got people out there, the real boxing people who know the game, and I mean, I've got a lot of respect off a lot of people, mate. So I'm happy about that. I'm proud about that. But my name's going to get mentioned for God knows how many years to come about the best fighter, one of the best British fighters never to win a world title. So my name will always be up there and kind of spoke about, which is good. But in the next breath, it means nothing, does it? And I don't mean that to kind of to be disrespectful or nothing, but it doesn't really mean anything, does it? But I know that I could have been world champion, but you look back, there's some world champions, mate, who they're idiots and the dickheads, and they're not really good people. So it swings and roundabouts, mate. It's good. It's bad, but it's good as well, mate. I've got the respect. I'm happy. I'm happy, mate. It's not ideal, and you know what, mate? It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is.
You know what, Martin? I think it's like when fighters go the distance with someone, but they still lose, and people go, "Oh, but they went the distance with so and so."
Yeah.
It doesn't really mean anything. You still lost. I'm saying anyone. They still.
No, but you know what, mate? You're right. It was like that with Golovkin. Obviously, at the time, I went the furthest when we went 11 rounds, and everyone was dead buzzing the fact that I'd gone the furthest with him. But that was never my intentions. Do you know what I mean? It was never my intentions to take him the furthest distance. My intention is to win. So even though it's good, it still hurts you a little bit. You know what I mean, mate? But you know what? Boxing's over for me now from a fighter's point of view, and it is what it is, mate. And when I retired, I wanted to, from the past that I had, I wanted to be able to hang them up and say that, you know what, it was all worth it. And that's what Oliver used to always say to me. He used to drum it into me that make sure it's all worth it. You don't want to put your body through, because you do. The fighting's the easy bit, the training's the hard bit. That's where you put the real graft in. And you say to me, listen, you don't want to train as hard as you're training and then retire and it not be for nothing. And you know what? It has. It's been worth it, mate. I've done well out of boxing. Could have done better, yeah. Could have done worse, yeah. It's about being happy with what I've got, and I am, mate. I'm happy with what I've got, my life, my family, my mates, the respect I've got. I'm in a good place, mate. So it's been worth it, mate. And yeah, it's over now, mate. And you know what? You think, 13, 14 years. It's a long time, innit? But let me tell you, it goes like that, mate. When you hear ex-pros and they tell you, they said, oh, your career will go like that, and you think, nah, it's not, it's dragging, mate. When it's over, yeah, you realise it's over. But you know what? I've got loads of stuff in me, in my bar, and loads of memorabilia. I've got that much of it, mate. I've got nowhere to put it. So I made a bar, converting my garage, made a bar, and I've got it all up. And I was in there the other day. I went, what did I do? Went for a walk with Gemmick kids, We come back, we got the fire pit table out, had a big fire, and then went up getting a bath. And I just, I just thought, I'm just gonna have a little whiskey. So I only had one, and I just sat there like with fire blazing, had a whiskey, and I was looking in at all the stuff I've got framed up, and I was thinking, where's the time gone? I was thinking, like, I looked in and I was happy and proud. I think, like, look where I've been from fights, starting my career in Wigan to then going to Germany, fight Sturm, and then there was Argentina, there was Germany again, there was Monte Carlo. Mate, it's been a mad journey. It has. It's been a roller coaster, mate. Loads of ups, loads of downs, but yeah, it was all worth it. And any fighter who I train in the future, I'll be telling them to say, mate, just make sure it's worth it. I can retire, mate, happy and content.
Just finally, Martin, on your career, if there's one thing you could have done differently over that 13-year career, pro career, what would it have been?
One thing. Oh, you've put me on spot here now. One thing I could have done differently.
Yeah. Well, you look back and gone, I wish I'd done this. Just one thing.
It's hard for me to say that because everything happens for a reason. And
of course, I agree with that.
The position that I am in my life now, mate, I've met some amazing people. I've met some bad people, mate, but I've learned a lot off every single one of them. Do you know what I mean? So, I kind of, yeah, it's hard for me to say. I mean, some is springing to mind, but it'll be me about, like, kind of insulting someone, which I don't really want to do, because, like I said, even though
that's fine.
Even though it was like, I look back and I think I regret doing that with this person. I'm still here, mate, so I've got to be happy and thankful for that, mate.
At least it's a positive one. That's fine. No,
that's it, mate. That's the one.
Have you got anything finally you'd like to say, kind of, to people that have supported you during your career? And
no, just a massive thank you. I've always had amazing support throughout my career. Not just people just coming watching me fight, but social media and people, just everyone who I've met. When I've met them, they've always had nice things to say. So just thanks for supporting me. Thanks for believing in me. And yeah, that's about it, really, mate. That's about it. Just a massive thank you. I can't. Everything that boxing's brought to me, mate. It's helped turn my life around in a massive way. It helped me become the person that I always wanted to be. So just thanks, mate. Thanks to boxing. Thanks to everyone involved in it.
Okay. Well, Martin, I appreciate your time this afternoon. You've always given IFL TV and me time over the last 10 years, so much appreciated.
I
know you don't really particularly like doing it, especially fight week. Week, not a massive fan of doing interviews fight week, but you've always...
Yeah, but I'll always speak to you.
You always
that, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, like I've said before, mate, when going back to that Indam fight, when I was going to call it a day, and the fight before, and the fights previous to that, every time I'd fought, I'd always had reporters and people wanting to do interviews and stuff like that. And then after that fight, mate, they just went. There was only you and Chris from BT Sports who wanted to do an interview with me. And, all them little, I want to call them rats, but it's not the
rats. You can call them rats.
Yeah, it's not the right terminology, is it? But, it kind of made me realise that somewhat I've always known, really, that, people only kind of love you when you're winning, mate, don't they? Do you know what I mean? But I've always spoke to you, mate, and yeah, it's always a pleasure talking to you, mate. So thanks for all the coverage over the years. Appreciate it. And KUGAN, just keep doing your thing, mate. You, IFL and MTK, it's amazing what you're all doing, mate. So keep up the good work, mate.
Much appreciated. Well, I've got a baby due in 5 weeks, Martin.
Oh, hey, good luck, mate. First one.
First one, yeah.
Oh, big news, mate. Big
I know
news.
you're not on, you're on social media, but not too much.
No, I go off it every now and again, mate. So I put a post on, delete it. Yeah, I'm not on as much now.
Yeah, 5 weeks. 4 weeks and 5 days. Who's
Happy
counting?
days. Good luck, mate.
So,
best times of your life.
If I need any advice at 3 in the morning, don't worry, I won't ring you. Martin Murray, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Good luck in whatever it is you're doing next. We hope you kind of move into that trainer career, which we know you'll be good at. And I'm sure we'll see you around the shows anyway.
No, definitely, mate. I'll see you in future, mate, whenever it may be. Obviously, it's all madness what's going on at the minute, mate, isn't it? But I'll definitely see you in future.
100%. Okay, it's been KUGAN CASSIUS with Martin Murray for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
It's not man, mate.